Welcome, visionaries. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. And the topic of today's broadcast is being an INFJ in the modern world. How's that for a nice broad topic? I'm sure the actual topic will gel as we start diving into the NI abyss here. I saw a video. I didn't get all the way through it. It was one of these introverted intuition videos talking about how we know things and we quite often know them without knowing why we know them. But I think that's a little bit of hide and seek, to be honest. I can usually track back through any of my insights to the constituent observations that added up to the intuition, right? But that could just be because I'm used to watching my own mind, and I have been for my whole life. And what's funny is that I think it's quite possible a lot of INFJs might mistype themselves as thinking types, since yeah, we feel what other people are feeling, but we don't really feel a ton on our own. We're not like super emotional people in that way. I don't think we are. I think we tend to just be more like receptors of other people's emotions, and obviously we have emotions and engage with them. And I guess like so, my wife is an INFP, and her driving function is introverted feelings. So I'm very aware of what she's feeling most of the time, and she's very aware of what she's feeling. So that's, I guess, a recipe for a decent relationship. But yeah, honestly, I think as INFJs, we could probably get on with anyone since we have this capacity to perceive what's going on, intuit what is going to happen, and adjust accordingly. So if we want to, we can have an almost completely effortless and friction-free life. But it doesn't usually work out like that. And a lot of the reason, of course, is desire, right? And I've been on spiritual paths my whole life. These days, my predominant spiritual path would just be to try and do the will of the universe, be and do the thing that it needs me to be and do in each moment. And I don't have any ambitions to enlighten states of mind or magical powers. Although I tell you, I have an intuition that in previous lives and things that I did have mastery of these sorts of abilities. And the problem is that this echoes right back into desire. So what do you desire so much that you're going to start making compacts with demons? What do you need that bad, right? And whatever it is you need that bad, there's got to be filling some sort of hole in yourself. And most likely the thing you're trying to fill the hole with is not really addressing the cause of the hole. Not that I don't believe it's possible for us to fill all of the holes in our personality. None of us gets through this life unscathed. There's many wounds and stings along the way, right? And that's all to the good, and that all sort of leads to desire. What's the primary desire? Well, the primary desire is, of course, to feel less pain and feel more pleasure. In the absence of pleasure, though, we'll settle for less pain. But and this does tie into being an INFJ in the modern world because um, I think we're feeling a lot of pain because I think the world is very confused, and it's not. That's not to say that there's ever been a time that the world wasn't a manipulated and confused place, but everything seems to be headed for some sort of zero-sum game right now, where like everything online seems to be driven for some sort of profit, and generally for some entity that's not even human. It's just this faceless corporation that absorbs human lives and spits out the wasted husk after it's done, right? Um, Obviously, I don't have much use for that idea, and I think we are. I was listening to a fellow the other day, and actually interesting. He claimed to be a Sigma INFJ, and I don't think it's like old Vox Day said. It's not so much the social sexual hierarchy is not exactly a mechanism for self-identification, so much as it's something that we all know inherently, and it applies to men mostly who, at least in the past, would compete for mates, and it's the hierarchy that lets the opposite side of the sex makes them aware of exactly where we fit into the culture and the case. And so your sigma is outside. Your sigma is essentially like the witch doctor that lives just outside the village, or the wizard that lives on the hill. And yeah, I think I was definitely a wizard that lived on the hill. I don't know if we are necessarily an INFJ from one existence to the next. I don't know how the universe works that out. And you could go, well, visionary. I mean, we don't even know reincarnation's real, and no, we don't. But as far as ideas that I entertain, I think it's got quite a lot of mileage. I'll tell you why. I think it has it gives you quite a lot back when you invest time in it, because first of all, it answers the question of a fair creator. Because I personally don't feel that to put someone here for 80 years and that would be it. They either evolve or dissipate or go to hell or whatever. I don't know what happens. I don't think that's fair, and I can't see how I'd be more fair than the creator of the universe. But when you take that out of the equation and you have infinite lives and attempts and tries to improve and get better, that does seem fair. And to me, how could I be more fair than the creator of everything? So we're going down tributaries and rivulets, but that's what we're here for. We're here to, I don't know, hopefully your mind sort of wanders and goes from one thing to the next like mine does, and ultimately it connects. And hopefully the people in your life are patient with you, because I do think we can pull that connection up. And sometimes following that NI trail, it goes, you're out in the hinterlands, you're out in the wilderness, and you're thinking, wow, am I going to be able to pull this back in, you know? And I do think I can pull it back in. I think I can pull it right back in right now, because whatever is up with the world, it doesn't really matter, because you have a lot of control over your attitude about it. And this is not to say that your life is easy. We all have good breaks and bad breaks. And I mentioned C.S. Joseph in another broadcast, and one thing he said about INFJs is that we were lucky. And I think that's true. We are lucky, but the luck is that we see opportunities with our NI and are able to move on them sometimes. But I will go on record as saying that I believe we have a very limited ability to affect much change in the external world. And you know what? Right now it looks like everyone else is struggling as well, so that's not so bad. Let's not worry about the external world. Let's worry about each moment. And the fact of the matter is that the past does not exist. It doesn't. You have a memory of it, and there's artifacts, but for all intents and purposes, it doesn't exist. And the future is coming. It's incumbent, but it doesn't exist either. The only thing that exists is the ever-present moment. And we are the masters of the ever-present moment. And a lot of people think we're future-centric, but I think it's more accurate to say that we're actually just right in front of that, or right just behind the edge of the extent of the now moment. Hopefully you got something from this broadcast today, and I will do my best to be back with you in a couple days. And meanwhile, INFJ, keep on keeping on.